Hey everyone, here are my quick thoughts on the second installment in the Fear Street trilogy, 1978. Fear Street 1978 picks up right after the events of Part 1, as Dina and her brother go to the only living person to have survived the Fear curse, in the hopes of saving Sam. Christine retells the accounts of what happened in 1978. As more events are revealed, more secrets are told, that may have the key to stopping the Fear curse. So first off, this one was way gorier than I was ever expecting. First one was pretty graphic. This one was upping it on a whole nother level. There was a lot of sex, there was a lot of blood, there was a lot of gore. Compared to the first one, this one was much more brutal, which, again, I'm a huge horror fan. I'm all for it. It's very different than the first part. The first part had a little more of a supernaturalistic element mixed with some slasher elements. This one just feels like a straight up slasher. It could have possibly been a Friday the 13th spinoff. That's kind of how graphic it gets. My biggest complaint of part one was the music transitions, but this one did it perfectly. The fact that it was set in 1978 really did help because they just used music from the years prior. So I wasn't really stressing too much out. The funniest part is opening credits had Nirvana's cover of Man Who Sold the World, and then later had the original David Bowie version. So it did work as a pretty decent transition. The acting was a lot more heartfelt than I was expecting. The main girl who plays Ziggy as her nickname is also the girl from the last season of Stranger Things, which, when I watched the last season of Stranger Things, she kind of just blended into the background. This one, she has more to her ability to perform, and I really appreciated that because I always felt like in Stranger Things, she just didn't have enough time to really do anything because so much was happening. This, she's given more dynamic, and you can tell she has a lot more acting abilities. I also like the girl who played Alice, but that's more to do with kind of punky aesthetic kind of thing. I always like punky girls in horror, but that's me. So the biggest issue I saw with this one, in comparison to the first one, was when you have characters who are extremely well written, you have ones that are extremely underdeveloped. Now, obviously, this is a trope in all slasher films, especially in the 80s. But one of the things I found kind of irritating to me is it felt like a lot of the good people were killed, the innocent characters. Generally, the innocent characters are kind of few and far between that get killed, and then the terrible people are the ones who get killed. But this one was the exact opposite. Like, the terrible people, most of them survived, and then the really kind, sweet people got killed. Also, everyone in this camp, like 90% of the people in this camp, are terrible. Even a lot of the kids are horrible people. Other than, obviously, the main character, maybe a couple other main characters, I really didn't know who I was supposed to root for, like who I wanted to see survive. There were little elements that did kind of interest me. They did delve a little bit on some mental health issues, which, especially in 1978, no one talked about. Like that was unheard of. It was kind of interesting the way they did it. It may have been more relatable to people who grew up in a newer generation to have seen this. So ultimately, I think 1978 was a better production than the first one. As far as filming, graphics, everything, this one blew the first one out of the water. The first one was really good too, but I feel that it was a perfect transition to the second one. Part 3 seems to be more taking place in a period piece style horror like The Witch, and I'm totally for that because I also like that style of horror. So what do you think? Have you seen Fear Street 1978? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and as always, I'll see you next time.